It's no extra meaning to winning a championship, no matter who you're playing against. It's already hard enough to even reach the finals, to be in this position. So if you're able to become victorious out of the finals, it doesn't matter who it's against. I'm just happy that I'm here with the opportunity, to represent not only myself, but represent our fans, our fan base, our organization, my teammates, our coaching staff, our training staff, and so many others that represent this organization to the utmost respect.
So he said, absolutely not. And as usual, LeBron said all the right things.
Right.
But you know what, man? We're taught to be skeptical, and, when they say one thing, they really mean another. And I actually believe him. I believe him.
Why?
I'm not going to Lonzo and training day. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. No, I actually believe him.
Yeah.
I actually do believe him, because I feel like the reason, and I know it ended badly, but badly for whom exactly? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the Heat, this isn't a traditional reunion. It's not like the Heat traded LeBron. It's not like the Heat released LeBron or cut LeBron, or it's not like they knew that LeBron was done, finished, and, put a curse on him until you do right by us or whatever. It's like, look, he decided to go home to Cleveland. The people who were in their feelings about that move were the Heat. So I'm sure the Heat would love to ruin LeBron's coronation, or, to stop him from getting a fourth championship. But I think LeBron at this point in his career and his life is on such a higher plane of thought, such a higher, he's got his purpose and his motivation and his drive is much more sophisticated and much greater, much more significant than the storylines that we could think of. I don't think he has anything to prove to the Heat that, I got to stop Pat Riley. I think he appreciates, and he went on to talk about Pat Riley being in the finals in part of 4 decades, I believe it is.
Right.
At various levels. I think he appreciates what Riley and Spo did for him to help make him the person and the player and the champion that he is. I'm more than sure some of his habits and some of his approach stems from his time as part of the Miami culture. He took a lot of the Miami culture, what he learned there, brought it to Cleveland, delivered his defining moment to this point, and now went to LA, and that organization needed a culture change, and he's taught them how to win, or he's elevated them back to the finals. And so I do believe him that the last thing on his mind is revenge or motivation or proving a point to Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. I think at this point, he's just more about trying to walk away with as many titles as he can, and trying to add to his legacy. Notice, not chase Kobe, honor Kobe, not chase Kobe. Carry on Michael Jordan's legacy, not match it or surpass it. I think, as we talked about earlier this week, he's doing his own thing, and that own thing just means I got to get this championship because this is why I play, not for somebody else's storyline.
Yeah, Mike, I think you're right. Well, if you say it doesn't matter to him right now, if you say right now, I agree. He's probably not thinking about it now, but it's something to look back on. Because if you think about it, if they win a championship against the Miami Heat, this is what it will mean. It will mean that when he left Cleveland, remember that juvenile letter that Dan Gilbert put out, this self-proclaimed king, sleep well, Cleveland. Rest assured that your Cavaliers will win before this self-proclaimed king does. Well, wrong. That didn't happen.
Wrong.
So he was able to leave Cleveland. Dan Gilbert is like talking about him up and down, just cussing him out. Then he goes back. He wins in Miami. So, one, Dan Gilbert, that curse, that color purple curse that you tried to put on me, that Michael Smith just did, that didn't work. He goes back to Cleveland. Dan Gilbert, you got to be rooting for me now. You got to be rooting for me. I'm going to win in Cleveland on my terms. Comes back and he wins. And when he left Miami, Pat Riley, he didn't quite go Gilbert. Well, he was a little whiny.
He's a little salty.
It was petty. It was petty. And on top of everything else.
I don't remember do you remember exactly what he said? Not to put you on the spot. Do you remember what he said?
Pretty much. He was saying, look, hey, you go through tough times. You go through adversity. This is the time really to stay. Pretty much it was like the old man. These kids these days, whenever they run into any adversity, they run away. And on top of that, I don't know if you remember it, not only was Pat Riley like, get off of my lawn, doing the old man thing and yelling, he also broke the news, he wasn't supposed to, that LeBron's wife, Savannah, was pregnant. Remember this?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
And there were a lot of stories that came out. Now that you mention it, there were some stories that came out. I'm not saying necessarily Pat Riley was the source, but there were a lot of stories about LeBron's tenure in Miami that were less than flattering about just how he conducted himself and some of the clashes, the culture clashes. I do recall that. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I think, all right, so you leave Miami and you go off and do your own thing. You win a championship. But wouldn't it be something to go back and then win against Miami? So all the teams that I played for, I made them better. When I left, the executives had some things to say, but in the end, I prevailed. So that may not be.
There's a 360
that may not be on his mind. That
may
may not be on his mind right now, but I think it will. But I do want to say this about LeBron. You know, we were talking the other day about, you know, the GOATs and, you know, LeBron versus Jordan. And somebody said to you, you know, why didn't we include Kobe? I don't think of Kobe that way. I don't think Kobe is in the conversation as the greatest player of all time. He is an all-time great. He is a top 10 player. He's a number 2 shooting guard by far. That's it, number 2. Nobody is close. So, you know, maybe Dwayne Wade is 3, but Kobe's 2, Jordan's 1 in shooting guards. But I don't think of him as the greatest player of all time. But I say that now. When I look at, you ask me who my all-time great is. All right, let's say today it's Jordan. Mm-hmm. I can be swayed, though, Mike. I'm not one of those people who says, I'm not going to change my mind.
Okay.
My mind can change. And I look at what LeBron is doing right now. I think it's incredible. Despite the finals record that got more losses than wins, mm-hmm. the mental toughness, the ability to carry multiple teams to championship stages, the elite level that he's playing at the age of 35. There are a lot of things where I look at it and say, all right, right now, do I have him the best of all time? No. But once upon a time,
is he definitely your number 2? Is he right? Is he after Jordan?
I always say he's like, I'd say he's in that 5. He's like somewhere from like
gotcha.
1 to 4. Let's say he's not 5, 1 to 4. Okay. But once upon a time, I vowed, hey, nobody's better than Joe Montana. I used to say that. No, I've never put another quarterback over Joe Montana. And the same standard that you've knocked around, appropriately so, that he's 4-0 in Super Bowls, and he's never thrown a Super Bowl interception. But that's not it. Once you start looking at a career, it's kind of hard to ignore what you're seeing. And so I'm not putting him over Jordan now, but I might next week.
In a week? I was about to say in a week. Yeah. So if he gets number 4 with a, I mean, it's 3 teams, but it's 3 franchises, but let's say 4 teams. So yeah. if he gets a 4th championship with a 3rd team, I beg your pardon, a 3rd team, that to you would change your mind. But by that rationale, but what if he does what he's done in the past? Okay, I sound like Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction. But by that rationale,
yeah,
you know, a dog will cease to be a filthy animal. What if he's brilliant? What if he does what he's done in the past, I believe against the Warriors in 1 or 2 series, and averages like a triple-double for the series and leads both teams in scoring, rebound, assists? He does his LeBron thing. What if he does that, but the Heat win the series because LeBron turns out the supporting cast, you know, ain't up to it? How will that affect how you view LeBron historically?
I don't know. I mean, that's a really good question. Because it's difficult now, isn't it? Like before LeBron won one, there was like this whole cottage industry of LeBron haters because he hadn't won. So you could talk about, oh, he doesn't have that. He didn't have that extra thing. He didn't have this. He's a brilliant talent, but he doesn't know how to win. So he wins the first one and wins the second one. And so that starts to go away a little bit, back to back.
All right.
Now that he's won a third, could he have a great series, averaging a triple-double, as you say, still lose the series, but go up in stature? I guess that's possible, but I'm looking at it. I don't think that's going to happen.
But he doesn't go down. If they lose, he doesn't go down for you.
Doesn't go down, but I haven't considered it because I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to win.
Yeah.
They're going to win, and I think they're going to win quite easily.
Well, that's why
I do think.
You do.
I think it's going to be a 5-game. I think it's going to be a 5-game series.
All right. But the reason I asked
that's why what?
Well, that's why I don't do championships. I'm not saying they don't count. Of course they do. And that's why they play. But in team sports, I try to evaluate all-time greats and rank them or Mount Rushmore them or whatever you want to call it. I have my GOAT discussions. I try to exclude championships and certainly records and finals. You know, the 6-0, that's the only argument I need, Sean. Because, all right, he wins 6 times in 6 trips to the finals.
Without playing a Game 7.
Without playing a game, okay. But I mean,
without playing a Game 7?
That's a great stat. But that's a team accomplishment. I guess. Let me just go across sports for a second, okay? So Magic goes 9 times and wins 5. So where do you balance 6 times that you made it, but other times you didn't at all? You went all 6, and I'm a Jordan guy. Versus going 9 times and winning 5. You went 9 times. So for LeBron, he's 3-6 now. If he's 3-7 or 4-6, whatever the case may be at the end of this series, whatever he is, it's like he went 10 times. That's why I gave him his flowers earlier this week. I want to give him his flowers now because for me, I don't think it's going to move the needle, whatever he does this week for me, because I recognize his greatness independent of what his team ends up accomplishing.
Okay, but see, this is why you can't dismiss. I agree with you. You can't make it.
I'm not dismissing the championships.
I know.
It's not the end-all, be-all for me.
You can't just say, boom, it's not your drop mic. Oh, 6-0, end of discussion.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that.
Yeah, right.
But it's not an insignificant thing either, because I'm gonna eliminate all the other sports just very quickly. Baseball, 25 guys, done. 25 guys, and especially if you're not a pitcher. So if we don't say about a center fielder or a right fielder, he has won X amount of championships. Well, yeah, he's a right fielder, and who knows? They got a bad bullpen.
Some guys get that love though. Some guys, Jeter gets that kind of love.
Jeter did because
Jeter gets that kind of love for rings.
That's just New York. That's just the Yankees.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's just how they roll anyway. But in baseball, it's difficult just to focus on one guy, 1 of 25. Put that aside. Even in hockey, if you are a great talent in hockey, in a 60-minute game, the best players are playing 24, 25 minutes is a ton in hockey.
Yeah.
And you got 20 guys. Move that aside. Football, even more interdependent. It's harder. But
doesn't stop them from doing it with quarterbacks, though. Doesn't stop them from doing it with quarterbacks, and you and I both know it. You mentioned Joe Montana. It was 4 for 4 was his thing.
I do it. I know I do.
Brady,
I do.
exactly. Brady, and that's the one I wanted to focus on when I said across sports. Don't lose your train of thought, but Brady got 6 Super Bowls and lost 3? Has he lost 3?
3.
Yeah. Okay. So he's lost 3, won 6. The ones he lost easily could have won. Okay. All 3 of them.
The ones he won.
All 3 of them. The ones he won easily could have lost.
Could have lost half of them.
5 of them. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? I mean, the first 3 were all decided by 3 points.
Seattle, right.
I mean, come on. I mean, Malcolm Butler gave him 1. Kyle Shanahan and the Falcons gave him another. I mean, they didn't give it to him, but you understand what I'm saying.
No, they did. They're cursed. They're cursed. That's a curse again. Color purple. There's that color purple curse.
But at the end of the day, he's got 6. But that's not why that's not why Brady is my GOAT. But I do agree with you that it's not insignificant. I just can't start there or end there. But go ahead. You were saying something. You were saying too many guys in team sports.
But winning is a big part of it. All right. So this is why Michael Jordan 6-0 in the finals. 6-0 in the finals is more impressive than 5-4 for Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Now, I mean, you go and you don't lose. That's 1. But you go 6 times. You're a 6-time Finals MVP, and against some of the greatest players in the history of the game. Karl Malone, what's Karl Malone? Karl Malone, what, number two scorer? Number 2 scorer in NBA history, somewhere in there?
Denied him. Denied the league.
Stop it. Yep, Charles Barkley, stop.
Yep.
Clyde Drexler.
All ringless.
How dare you be compared to me? I'm going to shrug. Magic.
Right.
Beat Magic. You know, so that's a big deal. Now maybe it's not 100, but it's like 75. It's like 75 on the 100-point scale. That is probably the most impressive modern final stat, and the only one that's better is Bill Russell from a different era.
Okay, right. So by that rationale, let's unpack this. Let's continue. Let's continue down this rabbit hole. LeBron both wins and he's Finals MVP again. So he will be a 4-time MVP, 4-time runner-up in the regular season. He will be if he wins, presumably he'll be Finals MVP. He'll be a 4-time Finals MVP, correct? With 4 championships, all right? And we'll have all of his losses, whether it was to San Antonio or, twice to go, was it 2 or 3 times to Golden State, right? 3 times to Golden State. And then, no, it's twice San Antonio. There's San Antonio and Cleveland, worst team ever. Worst team to go to the finals. Right. Nobody holds that against him. The only one that's
Chris Haynes forgot about that team. He forgot about that team.
The only one that's actually held against him is Dallas because he melted down against the Mavericks. That's the only one that's actually held against.
Fourth quarter.
Not even so much anymore. Not even so much anymore. When you look at the losses in the finals, most people don't put that at the feet of the king, the one except for Dallas. So if he's 4-time Finals MVP with 4 championships, 4 and 6 in the finals, that's his resume if the Lakers handle business the way you think they will. You're telling me that in its totality with everything else that LeBron has done, will you immediately in a week vault him ahead of Michael Jordan, who you just made the case for his 6-0 with 6 Finals MVPs?
It's considered. It is not off the table. See, I'm not in that position. I know some people are like that, like, well, forget it. Like Jordan, you can't challenge the throne.
And that's been me.
That is so
admittedly, that's been me. That's been me.
Are you like that? Are you like that now? Are you still like that?
No, I've said several times, thanks for listening. I've said several times since this show started that I didn't account for LeBron still being this good this long. Bro.
I got a lot going on, man. Come on, give me a break.
No, I got you. No, but I didn't account for LeBron being this good this long. So I feel like I'm still there. But again, not LeBron, but Jordan's 6 championships is not the thing that I'm holding on to. It's the player. It's the player, the all-around player, which I maintain gets lost in the debate. The all-around player that Michael Jordan was gets, don't let this trigger you, underrated, whether it's on the defensive end, as a passer, as the greatest post player of all time. Got better post moves than anybody. Sorry, Hakeem Olajuwon. Give me Michael Jordan's post moves. I still think I'm there. But I was listen, man, my boy pointed out to me the other day, he said that once upon a time, if we really kind of like, opening up the vault here and talking about takes.
Let's do it.
There was a time, and it was, I'm trying to think of when to prove to you that I can change my mind. To prove to you that I can change my mind, I'm not stubborn. There was a time when I still had Larry Bird as my starting 3. And I was, you couldn't tell me any different. And LeBron had won, I think, a couple of championships by then. LeBron had won titles. And you couldn't tell me that the baddest man on the planet in a league that had Magic and Isaiah Thomas, the baddest man on the planet at one time was Larry Bird playing basketball. He was the guy.
He was. He really was.
And I was like, that's my all-time starting forward. And then LeBron doing chase down blocks in Game 7 and spreading his wings and whatnot. I'm like, damn. So, I think I'm going to hold on to Jordan, but if he keeps just doing unbelievable things into his late 30s and adding championships, that's what championships do start to come in. It's like, well, damn, how do you deny it? So I don't, that's why, that was honestly, Michael, that was the inspiration behind the stuff I said the other day when I was like, part of it is not just I'm not trying to settle the GOAT debate or end the GOAT debate for all of us. I'm trying to make peace with it within my own mind. I'm trying to say, you know what? Jordan's the best I ever saw, and in my mind, the best to ever do it. But there are so many people that will bring up Kobe, and he's a different kind of GOAT. Maybe, I do think he's in the conversation, and that's honestly where it ends for me with Kobe. Rest in peace. But there are people that will bring up Kobe. There are people that will say it's still Magic Johnson, Bill Russell with 11 championships, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain. Now I'm just saying names of people that's in this room, and they got a seat at this table. They got a big, long, Last Supper type table.
Yeah. And
if you ask me, Michael Jordan's sitting in the middle. Michael Jordan got Jesus' seat. I hope that's not taking the Lord's name in vain, but you understand what I'm going with this visual here, okay? Michael Jordan's in the middle.
You said he got the seat. You said he got the seat. You didn't say it was Jesus.
Okay, cool. And at this table, you got Wilt, you got Magic, you got Larry, you got Kareem, you got Kobe, you got Tim Duncan.
Who's the Judas?
Who's Judas?
Who's Judas? Who's Judas?
Don't do that.
Because Judas was there.
No, but I'm trying. But the reason I brought up the Stevie versus Prince, Michael versus LeBron thing is just like that's the best way I can come to appreciate it without subjecting it to a debate.
All right, I'll say two quick things here. Two quick things. One, on the Larry Bird point, which is a great one.
Oh, damn, it's 4:30. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Whatever, man.
Larry Bird, go ahead.
We're talking. All right.
Yeah.
On the Larry Bird point, that's a really good one, Mike, and you're right. He had that thing for a while in the 80s. So 3 straight MVPs, and I know a lot of people of a certain age.
Did I say 90s or 80s? What did I say? Did I say 90s?
80s.
What did I say? Did I say 90s?
Oh, I
didn't
don't
say
know.
90s, did I?
I don't even think you said the year, but I'm just saying the 80s, like 3 straight years, he's MVP. And I know a lot of people of a certain age look at the 80s as the golden era of basketball. So in a league that had Doc, in a league, Dr. J.
Dr. J, right. I know you meant.
Dr. J and Kareem and Magic and Isaiah, Larry Bird holding it down 3 straight championships. But what's so difficult for some people is to look at that because it's a different style of basketball. Like Larry Bird, as nice as he was from range, Larry Bird didn't shoot threes. I mean, I like that. I think the most.
When he came into the league, they didn't have threes, did they? Did he have threes?
And that wasn't just a part of it. I think the most threes he shot in the season for a season. Think about this.
Yeah.
Like 200. Like James Harden said, man, I can do that in 15 games.
What year did the three-point line come in? What year did the three-point line come in? It might have been right when
it came in.
It still wasn't a part.
It was like 80, 81.
Okay, but to your point,
the ABA had it. Yeah, the ABA had it.
But it wasn't. The game wasn't built around threes. But we know that Larry Bird was one of the best shooters of all time.
Yeah, he was nice with it. He was nice, but that wasn't part of his game. So it came in 79, his rookie year, along with Magic.
Okay.
So that's one. But here's the other thing about LeBron that's really scary, and this is why I am open. The debate door is wide open. A real debate. Okay, it is wide open. LeBron's getting better. LeBron is getting better. Like some of the things you said, some of the things we said about LeBron in 2011. Can you imagine in 2020 saying, "Hey, in the fourth quarter, LeBron kind of shies away"? No, nobody says that. Yeah. So he had been at that point, that was his second finals appearance when they lost to the Mavericks. So the second time in the finals, 2 of 10, people were saying, hey, he kind of shrinks in the fourth quarter. You don't say that now. It's foolish to say that about LeBron James. He's not slowing down. Nobody is catching up with him. Nobody is really, you don't look at somebody and say, oh, that guy's better than LeBron James. He's not at the height of his athletic prowess, but he's not the same, but he's not the same guy. Physically, very, very close, but so much smarter. He just had the best fourth quarter of a closeout game that he's ever had. Watch out, man.
And he's in the conversation.
Watch out, Miami Heat.
35.